lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara, Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bohm, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento, swing y lo ponchó. Ponche de Alvarado, amigos.
Wow, welcome to Phillies Weekly, another episode of Phillies Weekly. You got to say, wow, that was incredible, talking about a Schwarber bomb. This is one of the greatest wins, comeback victories, in my opinion. I mean, since I follow the Phillies, I mean, down 4 runs, 2 outs in the 9th inning, and doing what we did. I mean, that was super, super special. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the Fighting Phils. I mean, 9 games in a row, 9 wins in a row. We're 16-5 in the month of August, the hottest team in all baseball. It is great to have here a great panel with us today. Take a look at this. Huh? All the dreamers, the dream team here, the guys that believe this team can win it all. How about that, guys? How you doing, Ty? Great to have you here from Phillies Nation. He's in the house. We have Tyler, Phil Stelgate, the guy that pulls all the magic out there, that keeps everybody keeping in tune of everything that is happening. And then Kyle Fisher with Metro Philly in the house as well. Ty, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. It's great to talk to you as always. And that was a ridiculous homestand and a finish that you couldn't write up the way that ended, with the Phillies coming back and Kyle Schwarber hitting that walk-off home run up over the batter's eye onto Ashburn Alley. It was a pretty wild week of Phillies baseball. And like you said, they're rolling right now.
They're more than rolling. I mean, look, let me put it this way. Tyler, I don't know how many endings you've seen in your life, but I have not seen. Look, I was looking at a number. I think this season, the teams that are down by 4 in the 9th inning is 2-672, some crazy number like that. It was wild. I mean, but it was wild, and in the epic way that it ended. How you doing, brother? How does this compare to all the walk-offs that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, this was an incredible victory. I mean, probably the best comeback since the Harper Grand Slam against the Cubs. It didn't seem like it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. But you know what? They're on a magical run right now, and you know, it's great that they can continue that streak.
That was, I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, Kyle, what were you doing, dude? I mean, were you jumping after the Schwarber home run? I mean, like everybody else, or what were you?
I was at the park with my kids, and I startled everyone there. I was solo dad for today. The wife was working all day, and when I saw 4-0, I was like, all right, well, whatever. I got to pay attention to the kids. We're here to have a good time. I'll put the phone away, but you start getting the buzzes like, oh, it's 4-3. I got to pull the phone out now. She's playing with kids she met here. We're good. Sat down on the bench and just lost it in the park, because whether you're a fan or a member of the media or whatever, you see an ending like that, you have to get excited. He hit that ball a country mile and just way to cap off such an exciting week of Phillies baseball.
I mean, a fly ball of Kyle Schwarber is a home run on top of in the Archie Arley back there. I mean, it was fascinating. I mean, it was amazing. I thought they were in automatic pilot today, and they said, well, we're going to lose this game. And then Schwarber, as usually, doing his magic with a double to start the inning. Then a couple outs, and you say, okay, it's over. Looking at the magic is over. And then a base on balls. I mean, you get that huge hit, by the way, that hit by Mundito. I mean, that dude, I mean, he does things like that all the time, either a home run against the Mets or in a major moment. The guy, I mean, he doesn't have blood in his veins, and he had a huge double. I mean, to me, that set the tone, and then a very nice hit by Crawford. And then, look, the rest is history, man. Schwarber, when he goes to bat, man, you know there could be some magical moments. I mean, what he did again at the Field of Dreams with those 2 home runs. I mean, the second one in dramatic way, and then boom, what a shot, man. That was like the natural hitting out there, but it was during the day, so it was not as magical. So, guys, look, let's start with this. I mean, I wanted to show the Phillies put this post out there, and I think this photo, I mean, just says it all, man. It's magic. I mean, this is the magic of the last 9 games in a row after the Field of Dreams. I mean, we have swept 3 straight series. We're 16-5 in the month of August. I mean, this team cannot be any hotter. I mean, the hottest team in baseball. By the way, the Brewers just tied the Braves 1-1. So we're keeping track of what's going on there. So that game is 1-1. Mr. Bauer tested the arm of Acuna, and the guy was able to score. But look, it's magic. I mean, look at the bat flip. I mean, look at the bat is up there, way up there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's way up there with the bat flip. And kind of this to me is a photo of the year for the Phillies. And I wanted to start on a very interesting point. I mean, Ty, Kyle, you guys are a bunch of times at the stadium. I mean, Ty, you go every single day. You've been experienced this dugout. I mean, you have been in the clubhouse. You've traveled with the team. You've done a number of different things. What has changed? This team was the most inconsistent team in all baseball. I mean, until 2-3 weeks ago, and then suddenly Alec Bohm starts hitting. Stott continues his hot streak and gets even hotter, and then this team completely changes. I mean, this is a different team than the team we were talking prior to the trading deadline.
Yeah, it's a totally different look right now, up and down the lineup, and I think you can't exactly pinpoint it on one thing. I think the team and members of the team have pointed to a meeting they had a few weeks ago where they had to look at the numbers and face it that they were not getting on base at a clip that was nearly good enough. They had to change something. They needed to adjust their approach in some way, and they did. I think it's been a combination of things. Some of it is a little bit of some luck probably needed to turn when it came to some guys who were struggling, and they're putting it together. But the combination of a conscious shift in approach, along with the addition of Luis Arraez to the middle of the order, somebody where I think Bryce Harper probably feels comfortable having him behind him, where it lets Bryce Harper take all these walks, and he's walking at an extreme rate.
500 on base percentage in the month of August.
And he leads the major leagues in walks right now. And I think Bryce Harper, he set out this goal at the start of the season in spring training. I was down there in Clearwater when he told us that he wanted to walk 140 to 150 times, and people probably laugh that off a little bit because it is extreme, but he's going to be, if he continues at this rate, he's going to be a lot closer than I think anybody would have expected, and maybe at 115, 125.
He's a 93. He's a 93 right now. Look, with Arraez behind him, I mean, there is a good possibility that this will happen in the last 32 games of the season.
And like you said, Oscar, Alec Bohm heating up and Bryson Stott really heating up. I think there's some injuries or some nagging things or things popped up that you have to watch with all of these guys right now, with Bohm and Stott and Arraez. Arraez played today. Mattingly said that he does expect Stott and Bohm to both play tomorrow. There's some things to keep an eye on, but along with all of those guys, I think they're starting to get, when you think of the Phillies lineup, you think of a team that if their best players aren't hitting, they're not going to do anything. And Schwarber, other than a homer off a position player last night, and he does hit the walk-off home run today, he hasn't been lighting it up in the last week or so heading into that. Trey Turner has not been great at the plate as of late, but they're getting guys near the bottom of the order, and even these part-timers. You mentioned Oscar Edmundo Sosa comes up with a big hit. The last week or a little bit plus, he's been really good and playing a little bit more just as injuries and days off have popped up. Brian De La Cruz has been really solid for the Phillies so far and comes up with that game-tying hit this afternoon. Derek Hill, a little bit banged up, came out of the game last night with a stiff neck, but he's had a number of big moments. These part-timers, along with Justin Crawford coming along better in the second half, it's just more of a complete look in the lineup right now, and it feels like they've found some sort of rhythm, and they're just rolling with it right now.
It's fascinating. I mean, look at some of the numbers here, and it's a completely different team. I mean, you look at the month by month; they've been very inconsistent. I mean, in the beginning of the year, they didn't do anything in the month of April. They were one of the worst team in all of baseball. I mean, look at all the stats: 3.88 runs, 26 in baseball in the month of April, with a 4.67 ERA, 25th in baseball. Then in May, they start pitching better. They are the fourth best team ERA in baseball. I mean, they begin to hit home runs. You can see Schwarber and Harper hitting home run. There were six in home run that month. They were 18-10. And then in the month of June, they kind of turn it on, but the pitching went down. So the hitters started hitting better, 5.66 runs, second in baseball, fourth in home runs. The average climb up to seventh and OPS to ninth. So you could see 18-9. And then in July, we absolutely go back to where we were in April. I mean, one of the worst teams in baseball, 9-15 record. And then in the month of August, Shazam, the lightning bolts just turn on, and we have the number one offense in baseball with 5.81 runs, one run more than the Boston Red Sox. You know how hot the Red Sox were a couple of weeks ago. And then our ERA is 6 in all baseball. I mean, this team is the best team in baseball in the month of August. I'm by a lot. I mean, Milwaukee, I know, is playing really good baseball. I know the Padres are playing very good baseball, but the Phillies are the hottest team in baseball right now. I don't know, Tyler. I mean, when you see this, I mean, does it surprise you?
I wouldn't say it surprises me, but it's good to see them putting it together, because you can see just from this chart, that there were months where the offense was good. There was months where the pitching, was okay. But I think a lot of it now is, the offense has finally gotten going, which puts a lot less stress on the bullpen. And I think that's so underrated in this entire win streak. There were so many games where the Phillies were, down by a run or up by 1 run and tied, and the bullpen's coming in. Guys are pitching every day or warming up every single day. And it put a lot of strain on that core. So now having the offense getting going has really helped this out. And I think a lot of this is due to the trade deadline, not just a rise, but it seemed like they were struggling getting into it. Harper made his comments, and it's really been lights out since then.
It's been fascinating. Kyle, what's your take on August? I mean, what happened? I mean, in your view, being at the stadium and hanging around those guys, what is the biggest reason for this turnaround?
Yeah, the players will tell you it goes back to a meeting, but Ty, as well as I do, a lot of those guys will say it also comes down to execution, right? These are players who we've seen do this in streaks before or stretches before, but not really able to put it together for this long extended period of time where everybody's kind of firing on all cylinders, or like you said, Ty, when Turner and Schwarber are having a down period, the rest of the lineup stepping up to really pick them up. You haven't seen that the rest of this season, maybe in past years, but not so far this year. And to me, it kind of reminds me of what Rob Thompson used to say all the time. Anytime they struggled, he would always say the same line, and it was, guys are just trying to do too much. And this is what it looks like when you're not trying to do too much, right? Pass the baton is a very cliche thing that is said often in baseball, but this is what it looks like. And I think that we're not hearing those cliches because they are doing it, right? Those are the things that are actually happening on the field for once, is they're doing what Rob Thompson had envisioned them being able to do. And we've seen them do on occasion before. And that's take the selfishness out of it and go execute your individual appearance every time you're up. Don't feel the pressure of, well, we're down X amount of runs, so I need to make this a big at bat. Well, the only way you can really get a big at bat if you're down like you were today is by getting on base, passing the baton, doing what they're doing. And the one thing I think that's super interesting, people have talked about this team needs to slug to win, and we know that their on base percentage is best in baseball in August. Well, their slugging is also top 5, despite only 5 teams having less home runs than them this month. They are crushing doubles all over the field. To me, that screams not looking to pull the ball too much. They are using all fields and taking what the defense and the pitching staff gives them while not taking themselves out of at bats. I asked Mattingly earlier this week. They had 11 0-2 counts and ended up with 3 hits and a walk in those counts. That doesn't happen very often in a single game. And he said, well, I have to go back and look at it, but a lot of times, not every 0-2 count is built the same. They may be in those 0-2 counts because those were borderline pitches that we don't want them to swing at anyway. And to me, that mindset is a huge difference in how you can view this Phillies team right now.
It's look at the numbers, guys. I mean, it's just fascinating. And by the way, that we were 4 or 5 weeks ago, we were 22nd in baseball hitting in terms of runs per game, and we're now 10th. I mean, after being second, it's actually we just surpassed. I did this chart before the final tally of the game with Boston, so now the Phillies are up by I think 0.1 run above the. So it's number one in baseball in average. I mean, look at this: 17th in average to number one in average in the month of August. On base percentage from 22nd, we were 29th, even 30th in baseball 3-4 weeks ago. I mean, this team is number one in baseball this month. And to me, the numbers that absolutely puzzle me is we were consistently 23rd in baseball in strikeouts and base on balls received per game. Look at the month of August. It's a different team. I mean, and I know a rise has a lot to do with this. I mean, I get the value of a rise, but here's NBC Sports put a very, very interesting chart, which I'm going to show here, which is this chart. They show this afternoon, again, courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Look at this, the 5th through 9th hitter in this lineup since August 1st, 302, 377 on base percentage, 430 slugging, an OPS of 807, and then look at their average with runners in the scoring position. And today they won 6 for 18 with 4 RBIs. 4 of the 6 RBIs were driven by the Munditos of this world and by the Crawfords of this world. I mean, it is amazing how this lineup, I mean, suddenly with this magic is beginning to click. By the way, thank you for NBC Sports for putting that together. I thought that was really, really good. Well done by them. So, look, it's what we're saying here. I mean, it's everybody. I mean, the bigger question for me is, can we keep this up? Can we keep this up? I mean, that's and to me, when we keep this up, I think Crawford. I'm going to go back to a slide that I have back here. Let me pull this out. Let me show you a couple of comments here from some of our friends here while we do this. While I do this, let me see. So Darwin says here, it's time to grab the World Series. Darwin is always very, very optimistic. He's already in World Series mode. Hey, let's get there, Darwin. Let's get to the playoff and let's win the first. After we win the first series, then we can talk about the World Series. Before that, no way. Here, Kevin says, feels like 2007 to 11 era when the team never quit at a game. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Watching players rally with hits is more entertaining than nothing by home runs. I mean, this was the Phillies in 2023 were like this. I mean, they were a team coming back all the time. I mean, doing the special things. I mean, it felt to me that way by doing what they did today. Let me show you let me see if this is one. Hold on one second. It's this slide here. So let me see. Let me put it up. Look at and the question is, can they keep it up? Look, you can see Harper has been really good all year, except the month of July. Everybody is going to have a down year or a down month. It's a marathon. So Harper had it in July, but he's back up. I mean, he's hitting better than ever with Arise behind him. Look, Arise is doing his thing. I'm not. If there's one guy that I will never worry about hitting is Arise. I mean, he's a hitting machine. I mean, that dude is. He was born with a baseball bat. I think he sleeps with a baseball bat underneath the pillow there. So just so you can get an idea. Alec Bohm is a big question mark for me. In June, look, awful April. I mean, he had his family issues. Then had a very good May. Then he had an awful June. Then had a bad July, and then now he's like a different hitter. I mean, the guy steps up there. He's gonna do something special. He's hitting with authority. That shot that he had out there that the guy couldn't catch in center field. I mean, that was a shot. And the guy's hitting. I mean, he looks like a more confident hitter, a different hitter than the one we've been experiencing. I mean, March, he's going through his struggles. I mean, and this is the second month he's going through those struggles. I mean, De La Cruz, he's really, really good against lefties, by the way. The way he's shown the numbers, I'll show it in the next slide. Ramuto, I mean, he's had a good July, not so hot August, but he's gotten some. One thing about JT, he gets some big hits. Sometimes he gets some big hits that are special. I'll never forget the home run he had in Game 1 of the World Series in Houston. So I don't know, guys. I mean, can we keep this up?
I don't know if it's a thing. It'd be tough to keep some of this up. Where you look that Harper has an OPS over 1,000 this month, and Bohm is in, the mid 900s, and Stott is up as high as he is. Some of that will probably level out, but I think there are certain parts of this that are more sustainable, and I think if they are serious and can keep up just the more on-base oriented approach, I think something that's helped them a lot is, I think Bohm when he's going right, and especially Arise, just adding him in, and Crawford now that he's swinging the bat a little bit better, along with some other guys, they're a lot more effective with runners on base. And now everybody's more effective with runners on base. But when the Phillies are able to do things like put a runner on, or put a runner on third base with no outs or one out, and the other team is trying to bring the infield in to cut down the run, they have certain guys like Arise or Crawford or even Bohm who can kind of slice that single the other way, especially with the infield drawn in. It just opens up so much more for the lineup. And I know this isn't, I'm not some genius for realizing if they put more runners on base that they will do better. That's just how it works. Everyone knows that. But I think they have certain hitters who are especially more geared towards playing better and producing more when there are runners on base. And when, like I said, if there's a runner on third base and that infield is in, Justin Crawford can kind of poke one over the shortstop or over the third baseman, and Luis Arraez can do the same thing, or they hit that ground ball that gets through. And it opens things up when they're willing to take their walks. And Harper's been on base a ton, and Stott's been on base a ton. Just opens up so much more for the rest of the hitters that if they can keep that up, parts of this can trend in that same direction, even if some of the overall stats, they might not be the best offense in baseball.
And that's what you see here. I mean, they are hitting differently. They're approaching the plate differently than they did before. 33.8% was their season chase. I mean, and now they're 29.3. They're 29.3, which is 11th in baseball. So, I mean, they're just doing things a little bit different, which is, I mean, I found it very interesting. I mean, the least amount of strikeouts and the most amount of walks. I mean, that is not the Phillies. I mean, this is. I mean, if you would have put this numbers out there and said, "There is no way this is the Philadelphia Phillies." This looks to me more 24th in home runs. This looks to me more like the Milwaukee Brewers or the Tampa Bay Rays than it looks the Philadelphia Phillies. And have Kevin Long changed his approach in how you do it? What role? I mean, Kyle, when you look at Kevin Long and Ty, when you're looking at Kevin Long, what's your take? Is he changing his approach? I mean, is he doing something different? I mean, are we putting too much weight on Kevin and too much responsibility that everybody, when we go on a slump, is his fault?
I don't think so. I feel like when this team has taken an approach, especially in this more recent stretch of the Harper era, if you will, like these playoff years, they have these veterans in there and they trust them to do the work and go out there and do what they're going to do. Very much back of the baseball card, we believe it, whether they're slumping or not. And a lot of the work is private. And I think it may not be that one particular meeting because this team has done a lot of meetings, especially since Mattingly has taken over. But I think that when you look at the approach more has been, hey guys, we are going to start holding everybody accountable, right? I think that was kind of the crux of that meeting, reading between some of the lines. No one came out and said that, but it was a brainstorming session. It wasn't a normal, hey guys, here's what's coming up. Here's what we got going on. Here's what this pitcher throws. It was, we have done all the work, all off season, all regular season. Now we're going to put it in your hands. Tell us what needs to be different because something's not working here. And I think the coaching staff took off the kid gloves a little bit. Not that these guys need it, or maybe the veteran gloves is a better way to put it, right? You treat veterans a little bit differently and know that they're pros and they're going to go up about their work the way that they're going to do it. And I think it was a little bit more of a, guys, something's got to give. You know, we're doing as much as we can here. Kevin Long is highly regarded. If the Phillies were to let him go, he'd be the first hitting coach snatched up by another team immediately. No hesitation, regardless of your opinion on the man. The league and the players in the know what he does for them. And I think you're looking for an excuse, but at the end of the day, it's execution. The players have to go out there and do it. And now they're holding themselves to a higher standard and holding themselves accountable. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor.
Amazing. When you look at Arraez, I mean, and the impact that he has, this is Arraez. This stat shows where when Arraez hit first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and nine, what is his batting average? On-base percentage is the type of their on-base percentage, and then the OPS for him. As you can see, outside of the eighth and the ninth hole, which are probably not his favorite places, in the fourth, I mean, when he hits fourth, which he's hit 56 times in his career, he has a 301 batting average with a 345 on-base percentage and a 751 OPS. They're not the strongest numbers. So, and then on the right, you see the Phillies lineup. I mean, Tyler, we've been talking all along from a long, long time ago that the Phillies need somebody to protect Harper and a fourth guy, a guy that hit fourth. So this guy comes, I don't know, we have a saying in Spanish saying like a ring to your finger. I don't know if you say that in English, but this guy came in at the right time and he can hit it. The truth about him, he can hit anywhere. But what are your thoughts on him? I mean, also on the left-hand side, you see he's average. He's the best since 1976. Is the best hitter in baseball with runners in a scoring position. Your thoughts overall on Arraez and the role and the influence he's had on this lineup?
Yeah, so going to the slot on the left here, the way Arraez approaches these at-bats, I don't think matters where he's batting. I don't think he has a different approach when it comes to it. He just seems like a guy where, when the ball's coming towards him, he's just trying to make contact, whether it's in the zone, outside of the zone, no matter the situation, but he's not hitting for power. And I think that's huge because this lineup, it's not always based on power, but that's how they've scored a lot of their runs in the past. And he's the perfect complement for this lineup. Before or right after they acquired him, there was a lot of talk about putting him at leadoff, but putting him at 4 is perfect so he can drive in these runs, and he gives Harper the protection. So I don't really think it matters where in the lineup he's batting. He's going to get these hits, and he's going to drive in the runs no matter what. But you can see on the right, this team has struggled. That the first, second, and third spots have just been a rotation of Harper, Schwarber, and Turner. And even with Marsh in the 4-hole, there was still struggles from players that were around there. So Arraez is someone that I think that the team really needed. He's significantly better than what they had with Gene Segura, but I felt like Gene Segura was a great fit for this team with a lot of different bats in the lineup. So I think it's gone as well as it possibly could have.
Ty, I have a question for you. I mean, we talk about, we look at the numbers from Crawford. Crawford has been hitting over the last month really, really well, and his average is at 272, which is where a lot of us expected he was going to be. We knew he was not going to be the same hitter he was in AAA last year. It's going to take some time, kind of the walk, crawl, run approach. But what's your take on Crawford and the influence that maybe an Arraez has had on him in terms of becoming a much better hitter as the season have progressed?
I wrote a story pretty much right after, or a few days after they got Luis Arraez, and I kind of had that thought: can this guy do it? Can this guy do anything in helping Crawford develop? They're not exactly the same. Crawford hits the ball on the ground a lot more. Arraez is more. It's a mix between grounders, fly balls, and he's really good at hitting kind of those soft liners that just like one hop outfielders, but they're similar bat to ball sort of style hitters. And so I talked to Crawford a little bit. I talked to Don Mattingly, and Mattingly said, like, Arise is a great guy for Justin Crawford to talk to, and Crawford, I think, took the initiative on seeking out Luis Arise. I think Luis Arise also wanted to make it a point to share things with Justin Crawford, and I did write a little bit about that, how they thought that could be an interesting pairing just for advice and to learn from. And I think it can't all just be sort of attributed to that. I think you have to attribute it to Justin Crawford and the adjustments he's made and his overall talent. But lately it's been what you would imagine and hope for from Justin Crawford, where he's hitting it into the outfield a little bit more and he's making things happen with his speed and putting the ball in play, and it's coming together, and it just adds a different dynamic. It's even different than Arise with the way that he runs. It's not always perfect on the base pass. I think there's been some rookie mistakes or reads that you wish would be a little bit better, but he is very fast, and it's a different dynamic at the bottom of the lineup, and it's added a lot. And I think it's been an underrated part of what's made the offense just run a little bit more smoothly, or a lot more smoothly this month.
Wonderful. And we'll talk about a stat in a minute. Watching players rally with hits is more entertaining than nothing but home runs. To me, there was a click at the Field of Dreams when Schwarber hit that first home run. You could see that dugout. I mean, the feel of the dugout was very different than we had experienced before. So I really, really like this. The team is it's like Rasputin. You cannot put them away. They won't die. I mean, look, today was an important day for this team, that they could be down 4 runs, and we haven't had a game like this. I mean, historically, we've been able to come back by a run or something like that, but it just felt a little bit different today than it's felt throughout the year. It felt, as I said before, like 2023, 24, when we were winning all those walk-offs and doing some special things. I remember now. Remember when Ramuto and Castellanos, one after the other, hitting home plate? I mean, it's a different vibe. If you look at Bohm's career stat, it really isn't that surprising that his offensive numbers improve. I don't know. It's just, I think, look, Bohm is a guy that has all the physical attributes to be a really, really good player and a really, really good hitter. I remember when he came up with runners in scoring position, he was really, really good. And I just feel disappointed. I mean, I feel disappointed, and there's too much distractions, too much drama around Alec Bohm, like throwing his helmets and not maturing and understanding that baseball is a marathon and there are going to be ups and downs, and you could be upset. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being upset, but just I think he allows his emotion to take over the performance. And I don't know. What's your take, Tyler, on Alec Bohm and kind of his tenure with the Phillies and his dynamics, particularly when he gets into the slumps and just very inconsistent?
Yeah, I look back to 2020 when he got called up and he almost won Rookie of the Year. And I thought, he was drafted 3rd overall. He's going to get really good. He's going to get power, grow into his body a little bit more. And, he had a few solid good years. Very good with runners in scoring position historically. I still think he's 7th or 8th. I'll have to look it up later. 7th or 8th in hits with runners in scoring position since his major league debut. So he's always been good on that front, but he never really grew into the body. Definitely has some maturity issues. But right now, I'm just glad to see him, getting hot. It really couldn't be worse than it was for the past couple months. And, it feels like this is his last stand with the Phillies, and he'll be moving on next year. But he didn't really develop as well as I thought he would, but he also
particularly his power.
I mean, look at his improvement at defense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the defense
the power never really came,
but
I never would have thought that he would have made these strides in defense that he did. But, it just feels like the time is coming to the end, and I'm glad to see him get back to where he was. And hopefully this will continue throughout the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, his best month in baseball is July, since he started his career. His OPS in March-April is 681. Then it goes up to 693, which is nothing to brag about. In June, 716. In July is really good, 859. And then it's 747 in August and 753 in September, October. So, look, there's nothing much to brag about. I'm disappointed. I expected a lot more from him and his development. And look, we'll see. As we said before, this is probably going to be his OPS in the postseason is 660. So nothing. I mean, he has a couple of home runs, 14 RBIs in 129 at bats. I mean, 225 batting average. Nothing to brag about in the postseason. So, and that's part of the issues. But by the way, he's not the only one in the Phillies that have not performed in crunch time. So we'll see. Kyle, Bryson Stott. I mean, he's probably been one of the most consistent hitter on the Phillies. I mean, not the caliber or the drama or the dramatic hitting that Schwarber and Harper has delivered, but he's been. I mean, while March has come down, I mean, you see Bryson Stott being crescendo month after month. I mean, anything that calls your attention from him, his approach to the way he's hitting. I know last year they made some adjustments with the hands. I mean, what's your take on Bryson Stott?
Yeah, it goes back to something I said earlier. The execution is there, right? He looks much more confident at the plate, whether it's the adjustment on its own or a combination of adjustment and kind of feeling that confidence of being a veteran again, right? Like you've been around the block a little bit now, be confident in your ability. People saw him as a future leadoff hitter at one point, but he's gotten back to using all fields. It felt like he got pull heavy last year, and a lot of that had to do with his positioning. He was trying to get those hands inside, but a lot of times if you try and get your hands inside all the time, you're swinging early, you're pulling the ball too much, and he's letting the ball come to him, which is something that he did early in his career. So it's funny. I know that he got hot before the arrival of Luis Arraez, but as Ty mentioned with Crawford, he's another guy that I thought could help learn by osmosis of just being around a guy like that, because he may have a little bit more pop than both of those guys, but he is a pure line drive. You're looking for the barrel, and if it goes over the fence, great, but he's a pure line drive hitter who can use all fields, and it feels very reminiscent of what Arraez brings to the plate. He hits the ball a little bit harder than he does. I know, shockingly, Arraez sits at the bottom of the league in barrel percentage and hard hit rate and all kinds of things like that. But I think Stott is another guy who just not only the confidence of those around him, kind of giving him that confidence, but I think that seeing his more recent tick up, especially in August, has come not coincidentally after the arrival of one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah, I think there have been changes on him when you start looking at some of the things here. Remember when we said all along, I cannot hit left-handed pitching. 830, Ty, any thoughts on that? Now he's hitting much better against lefties. I mean, at an 80-30 OPS clip, you see against runners in a scoring position, he's the better hitter on the best hitter on the Phillies right now with runners in scoring position this year. I mean, anything you see on Bryson?
Yeah, I mean, he's working a ton of counts and working walks and getting into better counts and more advantageous counts to hit. He's taking advantage of his increased opportunities against left-handed pitching and for the most part doing a great job. They did sit him the other night just to get Sosa a day in, since there weren't going to be many lefties coming up. But he's facing lefties. He's playing every day. He's wanted to do that for a while, and he's totally seizing the opportunity. And I think a lot of it comes down to he's just getting in these good counts, and it's just led to a lot of on base. It's him and Harper have just been on base all month, it feels like. Not to mention we're talking about the offense, but he's moved over to a new position, and but really just in general, he's taken to it really quickly. There's maybe a play or two that you could imagine that the inexperience shows, but he, for the most part, his natural instinct is really working over at third base in addition to the big offensive jump that he's taking.
He looks like a natural. I mean, he's a tremendous fielder. I mean, a couple plays where he ended the game. I think it was the first game against the Cardinals. I mean, that those two plays were like, I mean, it's Brooke Robinson at third base. I mean, he looked incredible. I mean, he doesn't have the range, probably because of his size. He's more, I mean, let's be clear, he's more of a second baseman, shortstop than a true third baseman, particularly those shots toward the line that Bohm sometimes might be able to get because of his height. He doesn't have the ideal height. I mean, he's more second baseman, shortstop, but he's played incredible. He reminds me a lot of Garcia, the guy that Michael Garcia, that is a really, really good third baseman with the Kansas City Royals. I mean, he helped. I mean, he was the most valuable player in the World Baseball Classic for Venezuela. I mean, he was incredible. He's a tremendous player. You don't know him. He's hurt right now. He has a hammy problem, but the guy's an incredible player. And Stott reminds me of him when he's fielding out there in third base. I mean, a very secure fielder, somebody that knows his stuff and will do all the right plays. Let's talk about between the four of us. Let's talk about our dear friend Trey Turner. What in the world is going on with Trey Turner this year? I mean, it's just his hitting. I know he's fielding better. I mean, I heard that he has Stott's glove now, playing shortstop with the Stott's glove, which is great. I mean, this guy's. I mean, look at month by month he's hitting. I mean, this guy's getting $30 million. He needs to play much better. And I know. Look, I understand that he might not. I mean, his demeanor, that is more of a low-key guy and all that, might not fit Philly, but you need better production than this from Trey Turner. I mean, we talked about it all along. I don't know, Tyler. Let's start with you. What's going on? I mean, what do you think is going on? Is it more putting too much pressure on himself? Is it more the guy just, I don't know, didn't practice during the offseason? I mean, the way that he should. I mean, what's going on with Trey Turner?
Yeah, in my opinion, it seems to be mental. You know, look at his defense as well. You know, he had a couple months where he wasn't making routine plays. He was struggling. And then recently, everything's been good again. So I think a lot of it's mental because he still has it in him. You know, like he still is swinging the bat in a similar way.
He's a great athlete. He's a great athlete.
Yeah, I think it's all mental. I mean, nothing physically looks different when I'm looking at him. You know, like he still is swinging the bat. Even his, chase, it still seems to be about the same. So,
I mean, it's just, I mean, it's puzzling to look at him and not being able to see the guy that we know he could be. I mean, this guy could be much, much better than this. Last year, I mean, Ty, he has an approach to hit to right field. And right now, you see those swings. I mean, the chasing continues to be at an awful cliff. I mean, just what do you see? I mean, what are you seeing different on him? Is it, in your opinion, is it mental? Is it a combination of mental and reps? I mean, what is the issue?
So Trey Turner, he's a guy that sort of like some other star players in baseball. He doesn't really take batting practice outside all that often. He does a lot of his work inside in the cages. And the other day he was hitting outside, which is usually a sign if you see Trey Turner hitting outside, he's like trying to figure things out. So Don Mattingly got asked about it the other day, and he said that he thought Turner looked good, but it's just, kind of the signs that he's going through. And I don't think it's a lack of reps or a lack of effort or preparation, because Trey Turner, he is somebody who is willing to tweak things and try things and take a ton of swings when he needs to. Or if he's taking a ton of swings and it's not working, maybe he goes one day without taking a ton of swings. He's willing to try different things. And I think when he's struggling, you can see that it's not something he takes lightly. But Mattingly also said, Trey is a guy who's going to chase at least a little bit, almost no matter what. It's built into his game. But when he's not going well, he is going to be chasing a little bit more. And I think you're seeing some of that, at least in certain situations or certain scenarios where he is swinging at that outside breaking ball. And I think what is sort of Trey Turner, he can be a frustrating player because it's like we've said, some of it seems to be mental, especially in the field, overthinking routine plays when he has some time to think about it, or misreading a hop because maybe there's just a little bit too much time to think about it. But you can see that at the plate too, where there's those scenarios where it almost seems like Turner, I think, to a lot of fans, can be frustrating, and you can almost feel it in the ballpark in certain scenarios, or in the playoffs in years past when he's not going well. It's almost like he's failing in the same way, which I think can almost like adds more tension in the ballpark, where if he swings at that 0-1 breaking ball in the other batter's box, you can almost feel it in the ballpark where people expect the pitcher to throw another one. And it's almost like Trey knows another one is coming, and sometimes he just can't lay off it. And I think that is frustrating because, like Oscar said, this is a player who signed to a big-time $300 million contract. He has one.
And what's left, huh? And what is left of that contract? I mean,
yeah, what, seven years? I think.
I mean, at 30 millions a pop. I mean, that's a lot. It's $210 million. It's a lot of money.
I think you need to look at these first 4 years. He had a really good year last year, and he got MVP votes and won a batting title. It's still his OPS was closer to 800 than it was 900 last year, and a lot of his value WAR-wise came from his improved defense. But Trey Turner, I think he's a complicated player who's had some good and bad with the Phillies so far. But overall, looking at it, when you sign these long deals, you want these first handful of years to be like home runs. And with a player like Trey Turner, you wanted him to potentially compete for MVPs and multiple batting titles. He got it last year at in an improved season, but some of the pop isn't all the way there, and the batting average is way down this season, where he's still a player that has the tools to put it all together, but it's been a disappointment so far, especially this season.
Part of the reasons that Alec Bohm has more RBIs than Harper is Harper was hurt for a good year. If you look at the couple of years that he was out, so that's one of the reasons why he would have more RBIs. Look, the reality, back to Turner, he's moving to the outfield next year. I just don't see him. I mean, maybe second base, but you got Arise. I mean, they're going to try to re-sign Arise. Arise is such an important player on this team that they're going to try to re-sign Arise no matter what. I don't see Arise going anywhere, and I do see Turner going either to center or left, depending or what he could potentially do. I would personally move Bryce Stott, that I know it's in his last year, to shortstop. I think he's a much better fielder than when he started, and I think he's going to do a really good job. I know the Rincon is there as one of the options. He's playing really good ball. I mean, 2020 down in AA, and he's a really, really good fielder. I personally don't see it. I see it maybe moving Stott to short. I mean, particularly next year. I see Stott, which will be in his last year of the contract. Let's see if they try to re-sign him. Playing shortstop. I see Arise playing second base, Harper back to first base, and then maybe potentially finding a third baseman until Adam Miller or somebody else can reclaim that role there. So
Oscar, if Turner keeps up what he's done in August defensively and keeps it going into September or into the postseason, I have a feeling they're just not going to move him. I don't know. That's just my feeling there.
Well, I have an opinion on why his defense is improved. Oscar, you talked about Stott maybe not having the range to his right at third base, but a lot of the incredible plays he has made is going to his left and kind of taking away some of the plays that take Turner away from the bag. And when Turner's body is moving towards the bag, he seems to be at his best. Now, obviously, we've seen him drop some routine balls hit at him. He seems to make the extraordinary play while struggling with the more routine. You see that a lot in electric fielders at shortstop. But I think that Stott's added range towards the middle of the field at third base has helped him be more comfortable in the direction he's always been his best and not have to worry about as many balls going to his right because Bohm wasn't getting to them. And I think that it is an accidental additive defensively that you moved all these guys out of position. I mean, I know that they don't necessarily want to keep Bryce Harper out in right field at all times, but Alec Bohm is worth more if you go by outs above average already at first base than Harper was. Harper was rated one of the worst defenders at first base in all of baseball. Alec Bohm, a net positive at first base, whereas he was about average at third. Stott, already a net positive, and has forced accidentally changed the numbers for Turner to make Turner look even better. We already know that Arraez is having his best fielding season of his career. This shuffle that felt like it could be a nightmare to force a guy in there has turned them into a better defensive team all over.
I just don't see him long-term as shortstop. And
No.
I mean, it's better.
I don't disagree with you, but it is an odd additive.
Yeah.
And as Tyler mentioned, it may get them so excited about the potential that you may see him doing a lot of shortstop work in spring training before next season.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, I think that there are decisions to be made. I think a lot will depend on what's available in free agency. They're not a Paredes, for example, the third baseman that used to play for the Cubs, now play for the Astros. I mean, he's a really good power hitter. That might be a guy that I would probably put on my radar among other guys. I don't think like Eugenio Suarez strikes out too much. It's more of the same that we have. We need somebody that can make a little bit better contact. I mean, Bichette, I don't think he's pulling out of his $40 million. I wouldn't. If I were Bichette, I said, I'm making $40 million the next 2 years and don't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, if he pulls out, I mean, he must be miserable in New York. I mean, to be able to make it there. Let's go to pitching, guys. I mean, and let's talk. There's some very interesting dynamics going kind of in the pitching camp. Here's where our pitching is right now. So our record is 7th. We won the 7th most games in all of baseball. Our starter have won the 4th most games, and our relievers the 17th most games. Our ERA 15th for our pitching overall, 12th, 11 or 12 for our starters, and then 22nd for our relievers. And then you see the WHIP there, 17th. As we don't have them don't have great WHIP this year on this team. I mean, 17, 12, and 18. You see the innings. Our starters are 5th in baseball in terms of the most innings. We have a great starting stuff. And then you see the averages pretty consistent around the 22nd mark across the board. You see the home runs there. Our starters have allowed a lot of home runs. I mean, the pitcher allows the most home runs have been Nola so far. I think he's up to 32 home runs for the year. It's automatic. When I do the Phillies fastball show Monday through Friday, Nola comes to pitch and said the only guaranteed is a home run by the other team. I mean, that's the only guaranteed. But you got to give it to the guy. I mean, and then you see the base on balls, and then we're number 1 in baseball in the strikeouts. And primarily because our starters are number 1 in all of baseball. So here's kind of where the numbers are. Here's another graphic from Pitcher List Stats. They do a bunch of different things, and it's just amazing what the transformation of Aaron Nola in the month of August. 2-0 in 4 starts with a 2.74 ERA in 23 innings, 22 hits. He's allowed 5 home runs in those 4 games. I told you, the only automatic is a home run. And then 7 base on balls and then 30 strikeouts. I mean, I am so shocked by how remarkable. I mean, we got a number 4 starter now, guys, and we don't need to go and look somewhere else. Aaron Nola has begun to transform himself, throwing a lot more knuckle curves. That's what you see, a lot more knuckle curve. You see a lot more cutters. He's transforming himself. I'm very, very impressed by Aaron Nola. I don't know what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's super impressive, and I think part of it is adapting to the new reality and himself as he ages, ditching his fastball that has been hit really hard this year and spamming that curveball that's still a good pitch and learning how to pitch with a bit of a different mix and maybe having to pitch backwards sometimes. But I think it's been really impressive. It's the longest tenured Philly in the rotation and the new guy in the rotation, and they both struggled in the first half of the year. Aaron Nola and Andrew Painter, they're the only two homegrown starting pitchers in the rotation, and both of them, as of late, they've really turned around
in
their
the
seasons.
last decade and a half. I mean, not lying. It's in the last decade and a half. I mean, the only
not many homegrown pitchers other that you can mix Zach Eflin in there for a little bit. No, he was a trade. He was a trade too.
He wasn't homegrown. I mean, he started with LA.
He was a trade too.
Traded from LA. So
really, they have not had many homegrown starting pitchers. The two most recent ones really are in the rotation, and both at the same time, they're like making that step forward, making adjustments on the fly. Aaron Nola probably won't have Andrew Painter. This what he showed in his last start. It's if you're the Phillies, you hope that's the start of a trajectory higher than what Aaron Nola is at this point. But both of them, I think, have taken huge steps forward in the last few outings there.
I mean, I was shocked with Nola. 19 whiffs. Aaron Nola? I mean, after how we started the year, I mean, it's just fascinating. Tyler, talk about the Nola transformation in your view.
Yeah, well, one thing with Nola this year is that when he doesn't give up home runs, he doesn't give up runs. And I think limiting the home run ball is very important, and keeping that curve ball close enough to the zone where it's not going to get hit out for the home run, and limiting the fastball. Now, Nola has never had the best fastball, but with his slightly reduced velocity, that fastball is just not as good as it once was. But there are some times during his starts that he does have the fastball velocity. So I think, unfortunately, it's just start by start. You know, really, you got to command these pitches, and you have to leave the curveball out of the zone, and you cannot get too fastball heavy.
I think in Minnesota, I saw like a 94 miles an hour, and I said, what, is this Aaron Nola or is this somebody else?
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes that fastball does go up to 95, too. It's just there's other games where it's 92,
the Field of Dreams game. The Field of Dreams game.
So limiting those pitches and getting the ball out of the zone is very important for him. And then the big thing, too, is last year he was really pushing the cutter for a while to the point where it just wasn't effective at all. Mm-hmm. So really limiting that and having the command is very important for Nola. And I think we can definitely work with this.
Yeah, I know that without a doubt. I mean, and the other guy is Painter. I mean, Painter started yesterday. It's the most promising start he's had in his career. And with 20 whiffs and a 48.1 chase, I mean, Kyle, this guy reminds us of the first round pick that we absolutely drafted, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, he's looking credible. And I think that when you're not a fan of the entire league and you see a guy like, for lack of a better example, Paul Skeens comes on and immediately makes a huge impact. And then Mizorowski comes on and makes an immediate impact, or at least it feels like it from afar. And then you see your guy come up who's been hyped up for your favorite team for a few years, and he craps the bed, for lack of a better term. It feels like, oh, what did they do this time? And not every 23-year-old major league pitcher is built the same, right? Not every guy who comes up with a lot of hype is going to meet those expectations immediately, especially in a major pressure cooker like the Philadelphia fan base. He's a guy who learned how to pitch better. And, oh, yeah, don't forget what Cole Weintraub has told us over the last couple of weeks since he came back. Ditching that splitter seems to have made all the difference in the way that this guy grips his fastball, which is his bread and butter, got him on people's radar and had him as one of the highest rated starting pitching prospects of the last decade. He was more highly regarded than Paul Skeens a few years ago before Skeens made his debut. That's how high level this guy was considered. But not everybody gets there right away, and I think people just needed to slow down a little bit, let this guy learn how to pitch. He has the demeanor. When you talk to him, he has the demeanor, he has the mindset of he doesn't take everything personally. He doesn't take every bad blow-up loss as woe is me. He takes it as an opportunity to learn what to do next time. And you are seeing, again, I know that I said this earlier with somebody else, but you're seeing the fruits of the labor that he's put in really come to fruition these last few starts.
I mean, that was. I mean, he has like a 3.59 ERA after going down to the minors. I mean, his fastball looks different. I mean, he looks like a different pitcher. So you can tell them, Ty. You saw probably what I saw here. The game. You're watching the game.
I'm not.
Oh, I am 3. It's 3-1. There was a ground ball with 2 outs in the 6th inning. A ground ball to our first base, and the first baseman for the Brewers booted the ball, and then the Braves scored. So the game is 3-1. The Braves are winning. They like to play in the Little League baseball stadium, so they're playing little leagues there. That's what's going on there. Let's talk about the standings, guys, and let's see how do we view the possibility of us being able to catch up the Braves? I mean, we're 3 games. This team in 10 days, we were 9.5 games out of first place. We have made up in 10 days 7 games in the standings. I mean, do you believe we can catch up the Braves, Tyler?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look at how many games we still have against them. I believe it's 7 games.
7. Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where we definitely have the momentum now, but I don't think anyone on either side can possibly predict what's going to happen with the amount of matchups that we have left with them. I mean, I'm watching the Braves in the background right here, and I'm looking at Austin Riley struggling, but they still have guys like Michael Harris and Drake Baldwin. You know, they can still pull it together. The team's not awful. They're in a bad funk right now, and anything can happen. After those 7 games, though, we'll really get a sense of.
Yeah, no, those 7 games are going to be huge. Are you flying to Atlanta, Ty?
I'm not. I'm not. No plan as of right now, but I think there's 2 series coming up. It's 7 games where the Phillies and the Braves are playing, and those are going to be
4 at home and 3 on the road.
Yeah, and I think I have sort of a take. I think that Phillies and Mets is sort of the rivalry that people think of. I think Phillies Braves is one of the best rivalries in baseball. I think it's a better rivalry than Phillies Mets in recent history. Those playoff matchups in 2022, 2023, those are classic series. And you have to imagine that the Braves core and the Braves players that were around, those teams still look pretty similar. And you'd have to imagine the Braves were better than the Phillies in 22 and 2023, and the Phillies went in and beat them in both of those series. And you would have to imagine that the Braves don't like the Phillies, or they're at least bothered by the fact that they were better regular season teams and the Phillies beat them in the playoffs. So I think when both those teams are good, that it makes for good theater. They have players who have matched up against each other a lot, and there's been some tense moments and things like that. So I think it'll be a good watch, and maybe there's a chance where they end up playing the playoffs again. But before that, they'll have an opportunity for a huge set of 7 games down the stretch, which I think will be exciting.
But so the Braves in the last 10 games are 3-7. In the last 20, they're 10-10, and the last 30, they're 17-13. While the Phillies are 9-1, 16-4, and 18-12 in the last 30 games. I mean, the Phillies are playing much better than than this team. It puzzles me. The Phillies are so streaky. Remember go back prior to the Field of Dreams game. We played in St. Louis. We played 3 games. I mean, we couldn't hit. I mean, everything has happened after starting at the Field of Dreams game until now. It looks like a completely different team than we saw 10, 12 days ago. It's just fascinating. I mean, it's just how streaky this team is. I mean, this is the reality. This is the wild card before we go and look at the schedule. So the Brewers they look pretty solid there together with the Dodgers. They're 1-2. The other very interesting thing is, remember, the guys, if you're 3rd or you're 4th, you will have a home field game. So to me, it's very important. And we're 2 games away from the Cubs now, and we're 2 games away or 2.5 games away from the Braves. So it's very, very important that we are either 3rd or 4th in that list, either win the division so we can have a game. And it's going to be an interesting game. It's not going to be as easy as playing the Marlins that we played a couple of years ago. We're going to have to play the Padres that are either really hot, or the Cubs, or the Braves, or I don't think the Dodgers, but it's not going to be an easy game. I prefer to play those 3 games here than having to play them away, either in Atlanta or in Chicago, or I doubt San Diego, but it's going to be or LA. The Dodgers could fall behind and we can catch them up. They're playing better now. They were not playing really, really good. To me, Kyle, how do you see the Diamondbacks? Do you see like they're a real threat? The Marlins, we just took care of the Cardinals, I think, for the rest of the season. The question is, can the Marlins and D-backs, can they be a threat to the Phillies for the last wild card spot?
The Marlins are pesky. Their offense, they're a very hitter-friendly team. They have a lot of guys who put the ball in play, get on base, use their speed to cause havoc, if you will. Then they have decent pitching to back it up. So I think they'll stick around a little bit longer than the D-backs. I know that their record is 5-5 as of late, and I know that they seem to play the Phillies well, or at least the Phillies don't play them well out in Arizona. And I know they have a series coming up there next week, but they're leaking oil right now. They seem to have gone from darlings of the NL to what is going on with this team, to Ketel Marte's at a casino while the game's playing. It's just, there's a whole lot of nonsense going on right over there at the moment. And it is really tough to focus up this time of year when you have something like that going on. Could the other guys on that team, they're all professionals, could they rally around it and be like, screw this guy, we don't need him, let's go do what we got to do, this is still within reach? Sure. I just don't see them sticking around for the long haul. And maybe I'm very in the moment, but I just don't see them being able to stick around just because of what they've lost, whether it be injuries or the whole Marte situation. It's a rough go right now in Arizona. And I think the real test will be if they go out there and get their butts kicked in Arizona again and look lifeless like they have in the past there, you're allowing them to stick around. Go do what you did this week and take care of the business. It's right in front of you.
What's your take on the tie on the Cubs? Do you see the Cubs being a major, a team? They have lefties, so that's an issue there. They got some good lefties. They didn't get as much as I thought they were going to get, but they got some quality pitching. Holmes, they did get. Your thoughts overall on the Cubs and how do they match up with the Phillies?
Yeah, I think they're a tough matchup. I think they're a good team. Like you said, the lefties are an issue with how the Phillies lineup has performed against left-handed pitching. And I think that Peter Armstrong, he's one of the best players. I'll make my statement. I think he's the best player in baseball right now. I think he's going to be the NL MVP. Alex Bregman is coming on after a bad, weird start to the year for him. So I think the Cubs are a dangerous team, especially if the Phillies would have to go out to Chicago. Not that the Phillies have played that great at home in the playoffs in recent seasons. They lost both games against the Dodgers last year. They split with the Mets. Everyone knows what happened in those last 2 games against the Diamondbacks a few years ago in the playoffs. So Nick Castellanos kind of told reporters last year, or whatever he said, that sometimes the home crowd, it works in your favor, or sometimes it's the wind blows back in your face. But I think there's some truth to it. The Phillies, it's not like they've been rolling in home playoff games, but it'd be tough to go play at Wrigley Field, even if it would be it'd be a cool environment, but it'd be a tough matchup in a difficult place to play.
And Cabrera could be coming back. That guy's a really good arm. He's a really good arm. They got Holmes. They got some. They improved their pitching. Tyler, your prediction.
Yeah, so I think all teams 1 through 8 are still kind of in it. I am hopeful that the Phillies end up playing a wild card game, just because they've struggled the 2 years that they didn't do it. And I really think that this team is a team of momentum. And honestly, as important as home field advantage is, I wouldn't mind being on the road either, because I feel like it'll give the guys more things to rally for. When it comes to the Cubs, they're a very good team. They do have the lefties, but I mean, their lefties are Matthew Boyd and David Peterson and Shota Imanaga and Ryan Rolston. Like, I'm not concerned about those guys. Of course, Edward Cabrera is good, and Clay Holmes is good, but I'm not too concerned. I just think that the worst case scenario for the Phillies is actually getting that bye or having to face the Dodgers in the wild card game. And as much as people don't like to hear it, I mean, the Phillies did struggle offensively against the Dodgers, but they were facing the Dodgers. They were facing the best team in baseball last year. There were still a few things that could have gone their way where they could have beaten the Dodgers last year. But I think they're the toughest matchup. So I don't want to face them in the wild card.
That's interesting. I do believe the Phillies are in a good position. I mean, if you look at here, it's very interesting. You see outside of the Braves and the Cubs that have not been playing well, you see the green on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, and then you go to the right, you see the middle teams kind of playing a 500 ball, and then the other teams, I mean, the ones that just gave up. I mean, outside of the Mets are the weirdest thing in the world, but as we all know, but it just they don't see it. So here's the predictions right now. I mean, based on FanGraph, the Phillies are right now predicted to be 2 games behind the Braves. But very interesting, the Braves were at 90% last week. They are down to 66.4, and the Phillies are up to 33.5 in terms of winning the division. So I think this is the opportunity. We have not been 15 games above 500. I mean, which is great that we're right there. They're both expected to make the playoffs. And interesting enough, FanGraph sees the Phillies with a higher probability of winning the World Series, which I guess our starting pitching has something to do with that. So those are some very interesting things. So here's what's coming up over the next 3 weeks. We have 5 weeks left in the season. I mean, this is what we have. So we're going to Seattle, then we're going to face the Angels, and then Arizona, which is going to be a huge series, followed by the 4 games at home versus Atlanta, followed by a game against Houston that is fighting for their lives in the American League West, and then 3 more games in Atlanta to close the middle of September, and then wait for the last 2 games, the last 2 weeks of the season. So this ain't going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. The Phillies need to continue playing good baseball. Seattle is in the hunt. Seattle is a couple games back in the wild card in the American League. So and they have great pitching. They're going to have Gilbert against Nola on Tuesday, and then they're going to have Kirby against Luzardo on Wednesday.
They changed that.
They changed it? I saw Miller somewhere.
Gilbert is tomorrow against Wheeler, and Kirby's against Nola. And then Luzardo's opponent is TBD, but they think it's going to be Brian Wu.
Okay, because Brian has been having some shoulder issues, so that might be either him or somebody. I know they brought their number 1 prospect yesterday up. It's the best prospect in pitching in all of baseball. So he did okay. I mean, he had a nice 5+ innings of work there. And then we go, and then we have Painter on the first game against Detmer, that tremendous lefty. That guy can pitch, man. The Detmer guy, he's one of the best lefties in baseball right now. And then we got Sanchez against Johnson, Wheeler against Kikuchi, which came back. He's been injured most of the year, and he just came back today. I think allowed 5 or 6 runs in the game. I think 5 runs against Texas. I think he was playing against them today. And then we got the series against Arizona, Nola against Puff. Puff has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's coming from the minors. And then Luzardo against Rodriguez. Rodriguez is among those guys that could be – I don't think anybody's going to take the Cy Young away from the Mist, but he's one of the best lefties right now and one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. And then Painter will pitch that first game. So it'll be interesting. As I always like to say, kind of closing – support our dear friend John Foley, foleyonsouth.com. You can go to his website, or you can also go to his store. He has all the great merchandising from the Phillies. There's a signed baseball there from my man Chase Utley, the next guy that will make it to the Hall of Fame, the MLB Hall of Fame. And then here you see some of the very cool things. He has signed baseball from all the Phillies, very cool merchandising T-shirts, and of course he got the King James T-shirts now there for the Sixers there. So again, 2206, 2206 South Street in Philadelphia, in Center City, or at folliesonsouth.com. If you spend $75, you get free shipping. I mean, he always does a tremendous job, guys. Look, your thoughts overall as we hit the home stretch here with 5 weeks left. I mean, any worth of wisdom, Ty? I mean, do you see this team clicking in full cylinders and running it the entire way, whatever 30 games are left?
It's tough to say, but they're rolling right now, and if they play anything anywhere close to this, they're going to be a force. They're going to be a team that other clubs don't want to see in the postseason. But I think there are still question marks for sure. How can Aaron Nola and Andrew Painter keep this up? Can the Phillies and their top-down lineup contributions, can they keep that up? And even the top pitchers, I think there's a little bit of question marks about. Not really Jesus Luzardo. He's been pretty good, really good for the most part recently. But Christopher Sanchez, even though he's getting mostly good results, there's been these outings where there's 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. That's not really Christopher Sanchez like. Zach Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler. We didn't talk much about Zach Wheeler, and just to spend a minute on him before we close. What do you think is going on? I mean, he's just dead arm tire over a long season.
I think maybe that he had a weird year last year, obviously with the blood clot that ended his season and the surgery and even his off season had to be not normal. So maybe there's, not to mention that he's a veteran pitcher. He's older, in his mid to late 30s. So maybe it's just a little bit of a physical sort of
getting back
situation.
Some retooling there. I mean, he can sit down now with Nola. Nola can tell him how to do it.
So yeah, I think he'll probably have to make adjustments on the fly. But right now, I think it's just in a period where, in Wheeler and Sanchez, even though Wheeler didn't finish that season last year, over the last couple of years, a lot of miles on those arms. Those guys throw a lot of innings, and they have thrown a lot of innings.
Anything that concerns you, Tyler, from now till the end of the season?
Yeah, one thing is the consistency. They have not been consistent this year at all, and now they're in a good spot. But yeah, I mean, I get very concerned, when they have their days off and they come back, or they go to places like Chase Field, which have never gone well for them. So a lot of it is just that they'll lose the consistency. And we've seen a lot of encouraging things recently from, Nola, Painter, McFarland, Stott, Bohm. These are guys that, on the way the roster's built, they're all secondary guys, but getting contributions from them are huge. So I am just a little concerned about staying consistent and staying this at least some sort of hot into the postseason.
By the way, Kyle McFarland, huh? He's won 3 games. I mean, he's been at the right place at the right time. He's won 3 out of the 9 games in the 9 game streak. So, I mean, he looks the part, man. He looks like he's going to be a good pitcher down the road.
Yeah, you need your system throughout a year, especially when it comes to pitchers. You need your system to do something. We saw it a little bit last year with Mick Abel, right? He came up and gave you those couple spot starts and got you something, and then obviously used that value to go out and get Johan Duran. And the year that they called up Orion Kirkring, you needed somebody to go back in those innings and give you something, right? To survive a 162-game season, you need a lot more than the 26 men you started with. And McFarland's an example of a guy who's rising to the occasion. Hopefully he can do it for a more extended period than maybe like a guy like Tyler Phillips did a couple years ago. We saw how he started and how he finished his Phillies tenure, but there's positive signs there for sure. He's been tearing it up in the minors all season long, so it's good to see that translate here for them.
Last quick question, Nestor Cortez. I mean, what do we, Ty? What do we expect from him?
Yeah, I think it's a little tough to know exactly what to expect because he hasn't pitched all season for an actual team. Phillies signed him this week, of course. He has a major league deal. He accepted an optional assignment. He's in Clearwater. Don Mattingly said the other day that he did sort of a live batting practice against minor league hitters. Mattingly said he probably wouldn't expect him to be able to be built up to like a real starter, 75 to 90 pitches, but I think the team would hope to have him something a step or two below that, where he can be in some form like a bulk pitcher, whether that's piggybacking with somebody or if they need to skip a rotation spot, he can start a bullpen game and go 2-3 innings or serve as a long man in the back of the bullpen or at the end of the bullpen. I think that's probably the ideal role. I think it's tough to guarantee he'll be on the big league team until he faces real hitters in a game and you see how everything's going in the minor leagues, though.
Yeah, I don't know, Tyler and Kyle, the way you guys see it. I mean, this guy, since 2024, he had not performed really, really strong. So look, to me, he's more of a guy that maybe potentially would come out of the bullpen in lone relief, or he could be effective. If he comes in and he's an effective pitcher, he could potentially be in the postseason roster. I mean, he's a veteran, and he's been in key roles in key games and has executed. My understanding is that Freddie Freeman loves to hit against him, so that's one of the dynamics. But I don't know how you guys see it, and then we'll close it. Just give us where can we follow you on social media and all that. Your final thoughts, Tyler.
So it just feels kind of like a dart throw, see if there is something in there with him. While he did sign the major league contract, he did sign with like a split deal where in the minors it's only $250,000. So that tells me that, maybe if he's not good in the minors, we might not see him. I mean, I don't know. But I think it's just let's see what we have in there. I don't think he would ever be built up, at least at the beginning, to start. So rosters expand on September 1st. He can come up September 3rd. So, he could just
he might be that additional pitcher.
Yeah, he might just be the additional pitcher, and we'll see what they have in him. And, if he isn't good, then he's on the postseason roster.
Yeah. I mean, do you expect Killing back this year? I mean, any of you guys?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the last I asked about it, Don Mattingly said that it's not totally ruled out that he could come back, but that doesn't mean it's a guarantee or anything. So I mean,
the injury looks pretty bad. I mean, the injury looks one of those injuries that is very hard to come back. I mean, it's like Pages, the center fielder of the Dodgers. I mean, getting hit with a fractured wrist, and it's a 4 to 6 week injury with the playoffs. I mean, he's not going to be ready to hit. I mean, there's no way. So it's probably a nod. So it's great. Kyle, where can we follow you on social media?
Me?
Yes. Your name is Kyle, isn't it?
Just want to make sure. Sorry, breaking up a little bit. My handle's right on the screen at Kyle Fisher 45 everywhere. I'm on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, on YouTube. I'm Kyle Fisher Media.
Blue Sky, look at that, man.
Yes,
that guy's like Mr. Cool here. Huh?
But if you want to support me beyond that, my writing is over at Metro Philadelphia for the newspaper or Philly Sports Network. And then my brother and I do have a podcast where we talk all things Philly sports. My brother and I have a combined, not only are we lifelong Philly sports fans, we have a combined 30 plus years of national sports coverage. Both worked for some big networks over the years. He's a lifelong sports researcher. Tim Kirchin referred to him as one of the greatest sports researchers of all time. So if you want to get some awesome detailed insight and get the energy that I like to bring, go check out Brotherly Glove Podcast.
Brotherly Glove Podcast. Podcast. Quick question: who's going to be number 2 Eagles quarterback?
I mean, that's too tough
come
to
on,
tell.
Come on.
You got to go with the veteran, right? I mean,
my God. Oh my God. I think it's going to be McKee, by the way. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. We're going to have to answer that question in the next couple of weeks. Ty, where can we follow all your great stuff?
You can follow me at Ty Daubert on Twitter. You can follow us at Phillies Nation and PhilliesNation.com. We'll have you covered for the rest of the season. I just wrote a story, talked after the game to a bunch of the Phillies relievers and what their vantage point was from the bullpen of that Kyle Schwarber home run, flying over their heads, over the batter's eye, and some of the relievers give me some fun stuff, some
Loved
good
it,
perspective
Ty.
on it. So
I read it right before
you.
I jumped on. Loved it.
Yeah,
Thank
you can
you.
follow at Ty Daubert. I mean, is your handle on X and all the platforms, right?
Yep.
Wonderful. Yes, follow Destiny and Ty with all the magic they do at Phillies Nation. And now the man, the guy that has this city, I mean, up and down. I mean, he's saying that we're going 31-0 the rest of the way. Just kidding, Tyler. How you doing, man? Just
yeah, I definitely did not say that. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Where can we follow the wonderful work, and what do you expect this week?
Yeah, you can follow me at Phil's Tailgate. I will be awake for all of the games this week. But I'm expecting 5-1. Very optimistic.
I like that.
But I'm not going to give it a 6-0. Can't do it.
Yeah, we're probably going to lose at least one game in Seattle. That would be my guess, that we lose the game in Seattle and maybe we sweep the great Los Angeles Angels. Maybe they can find a way to get Trout in the plane and on the way back, and then he can play for the Phillies the rest of the way.
Those Angels fired their entire pitching staff, coaching staff, I should say, for pitching, and they've been very good pitching since that happened. So,
yeah, I mean, their general manager, I think, got axed.
Interesting story.
And also, their general manager got axed, and also the interesting part is the manager is signed to a 1-year deal. I've never heard of that in my entire life. I mean, it's just bizarre, and it's a bizarre organization. I mean, I don't want anything with Rodon. So, Ty, don't come out with the idea of Rodon at third base for the Phillies next year, huh? Guy, thank you so much. I mean,
Thanks.
truly appreciate your time. Again, follow them. I mean, they do marvelous work. I mean, from Phil's Tailgate with Tyler to Phillies Nation and Metro Philly. Guys, thank you so much, and I look forward to see you in the next coming weeks. I mean, this is gonna get fun. Let's go. 5 more weeks to go. Go Phils. Let's go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bohm, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento. Swing y